Yo, what's up my little coders? In this tutorial, I'm going to show you how to send a post request in Java. But before that, let me start with a super quick recap of a theory. A post request is one of the HTTP methods which is used to send data to the API server to create a resource. The data which you send to the API server is usually called body. In order to send a post request with a body to create this new resource, we obviously need to have an API that would accept the post requests. For that, we are going to use a service which is called RESTful API.dev. This service supports main HTTP methods, including post. And here you can see an example of a post request. On the left side, here is a body of a post request. So if you send this data to the API by sending a post request to this URL, you're supposed to get a response back. If everything is legit and you send the request correctly, you're supposed to get a status code which is equal to 200, and 200 represents that everything is good. Then API would basically create this object, would store it somewhere in their database. It would generate a unique ID for you. And also here in response, we can see that it's supposed to display to us at what time this object has been created. Let's try to send this post request first of all through the Postman. And then if everything will be fine in Postman, let's try to do exactly the same thing, but in Java. Let me specify that we want to send a post request. And let's try to send exactly the same body. Okay, if I hit the send button, we get an error. 415 unsupported media type. This service even shows you what exactly went wrong. But yeah, here we can see that yes, the API expects the content type to be JSON, and we send the content type as text. Okay, we need to change it. It's very easy. Let's change from text to JSON. Okay, we changed the content type. It's application/JSON right now. Let's try to do the same. Perfect. We sent the request. It was successful. We got a status code equal to 200. It generated the unique ID for our resource, and it stored our data which we have sent to the API. Perfect. Now let's try to do exactly the same but in Java. And these guys, they even provide you some code examples for different programming languages, and they also have the post request example in Java. So this is exactly what we need, guys. Okay, I copied this piece of code. Okay, what do we have here? Basically, we specify our body. So body is, our request data, which we are going to send to the API. We specify it here as a string, and this string represents a JSON object, as you can see. Then we would specify the URL of the API, the URL which accepts the post request. Then we need to open the connection so that our Java program will be able to communicate with this API. Then specify that we are going to send a post request. We need to also set do output to true. What it means that we need to tell to the Java that we are basically sending our body. So our body, our request body, is also sent as part of our request, because would say if it would be a get request, not a post request, it would not require body, and default value is set to false, so we need to change it to true. Then after that, we need to specify our content type. We have seen it in Postman already. What happens if we don't do that? Because default value is not application/JSON. Default value is just a simple text. So we need to be specific here as well. Then we need to set our user agent. It's not always compulsory, so it might work if I comment it out, I would guess. But in some cases it would not work, so it doesn't hurt to set it as well. Basically what we're doing here is we're trying to pretend that we're a Mozilla browser. Okay, once all these settings are set, we have our body, we specified everything what we need. We can try to basically write our bytes. so we can send this request to the API. And when you write the bytes, when you send the request, after that, you can also try to get your response from the API. So what API replies to you, and here we would print what we get from the API. So we should get our response object back, basically, from the API in case if our request is successful. Also, on top of that, let me just print the status code which we would get from the API. Alright, if I run this program, if everything is good here, we're supposed to send a request to the API and get a response back. Let's see if it will be successful. Perfect, yeah, we get a status code 200 from the API, meaning that everything is good. And here we print our response object from the API. And you can see here that API generated a unique ID for us, for our object which we have created. If I rerun my code once again, we should see another ID, because ID should be unique, and yeah, and it generated a new object. Okay, it stored our data which we have sent. Yes, name Apple iPad Air, same as here. Created at. This is exactly the same time as I have right now in my location. And here's the data which we have sent to this API. Perfect, so the object has been created. We can validate it. We can just copy this ID and send a GET request to the API, because this API also supports multiple GET requests, so you can request your object by ID. It's exactly the same URL, but then you need to put slash and then put your ID. So if I do it, and if I change from post to get, if I send this request, yes, we get our object back. This is perfect. Now, let's think about a real scenario. Imagine that we are developers and we are developing a website on which people can sell their used cars. Imagine that I am a seller, I go to this website and I want to sell my car. So probably I would create a new listing, would submit some details about this car, and then would hit a list button which would list this car to the market. And when I would hit this list button, probably the website would get all the data which I filled in and would send a post request with this data to create a new resource, a new car, to store this new data in a database. Imagine this is our real lifetime scenario. Imagine, I'm a seller and I'm going to sell a BMW X5. Okay, imagine I publish my listing, so I send a post request, and yes, the API created a new object for me. Let me validate it quickly. Perfect, yeah, BMW X5, exactly as we have sent. However, why I'm talking about this? So you can see here that, we are sending our object as a string. However, guys, it is Java, it is object-oriented programming language. So in some situations, potentially, yes, our object might be a string and somehow we would get the string. However, most probably, in most of the cases, we would not want to send the strings, which would represent the object, but we would actually want to send the real Java objects to the API to create our resources. How can we do that? For that, let's create a class. Let's call it car, if you're selling some cars as an example. So we would have two fields, string name, and also we can have a hash map. Say key is a string and value is just any object. These two fields should have this exact names, because our API, which we're using today, basically accepts only these two variables, name and a data. If you develop your own custom API and you do it yourself, you can extend it and it would accept some other fields as well. But here we have only two fields because we are using this external service. However, the data field is quite generic, so it represents basically a JSON object inside this bigger JSON object. And you can basically send different variables of different types here. You can also, send another JSON somewhere inside. you can do whatever you want, which is good. But yeah, we need to give exactly the same names, otherwise this data will not be stored. All right, we created two fields. Let me generate a constructor. Let me also generate getters and setters. Basically, yeah, we just created a simple Java object, simple Podjo, plain Java object. Now, let's basically, populate this object. So let's create a new car. If we create this car with this name and this hash map, and this hash map is a data which we're going to send to the API as part of our body. If we have this object, we don't need this string body anymore, so we can remove it. And then if we take this object and if we write it here, so when we write the bytes, we would write the object, we would see that it's not that easy because the write bytes function accepts only string, but we try to send an object. How can we convert this object to the string which would represent a JSON basically? How can we do that? We can do it very easily. We just need to use the object mapper for that. And in this case, it would take the object and would convert the object to a string which would represent a JSON object. So object mapper is equal to new object mapper. However, you can see here that my IntelliJ doesn't recognize the object mapper because object mapper is something what is coming from external library. Make sure you read a bit about object mapper as well. But basically, it's a library. It allows you to convert the objects to the JSON strings and vice versa. We can just go to our Gradle dependencies, add this extra dependency. So it's coming from fasterxml.jackson. We can just set it up as part of our Gradle dependencies. And then if we go back to the code, we can just simply import this object mapper class. And in order to use this object mapper to convert the plain Java object to the JSON string, we can just simply call our object mapper and call a function which is called write value as a string, and we can pass our plain Java object, and basically it would take this this Java object, and yes, it would convert it to the string which would represent a JSON. And now, once we have the string, we can write our bytes using a string, same as we did in our first example. And if I run this code right now, yes, we get a status code equal to 200, and the API generated a new resource, and we can try to validate it by trying to send a GET request with this new ID. And if we do that, we can see that we successfully sent a post request and it was legit and it stored the right values. And we actually have sent a proper plain Java object instead of a string. I mean, we still send the string, but we used the normal Java object. Okay, guys, that's it from my side. I hope that this tutorial was useful and you learned something. If you did, please give this video a like and subscribe. Thank you, and see you later, guys.